Hi guys. Okay, back from our conference in Maui. It was wonderful. It was a really great time because there were a lot of people there who had navigated some difficult, devastating times with the line of fires and losing homes and people and everything else. And we had an opportunity to get a hold of them. I had a team with me, and Mary Hudson had a team with her, and we just got together and started hugging these people. We just hugged them and let them know, you know what, yeah, you're here, you're still here, and we want you to feel valued and comforted and know that God has got plans ahead. I titled this Navigating the Days Ahead. I feel like that we're coming into some times that are, we how many tidal wave dreams do people have to have and send in? I mean, my goodness, I have probably gotten 50 to maybe upwards to 70 or something of people that have had these tidal wave dreams, and they've been recent. And so we know that something big is coming. When you have a tidal wave type dream or things like that, it has to do with overtaking you, something bigger than you. You can't navigate yourself around it. You have to see how you flow in that particular situation. You either get out of its way, or if you're caught up in it, it's gonna cover you. It's gonna have an impact on you instead of you having an impact on it. And so I feel like that we're coming into some times where we need to have a couple of things under our belt. We need to first, I've said this a million times, if I've said it once, if you listen to me at all, you gotta learn to hear God's voice. If all of the communication goes down and you don't have it anymore, you need to know how to go forward and what to do, and you need to hear the one who is in charge, who loves you, who is your dad, who's your father, who sees ahead and will give you guidance and understanding through difficult or troubled times. You also need to realize that the prophetic is going off the charts. I understand and know that there's been a lot of mix up and upshake and weird stuff happening in the prophetic movement, with people that we felt, okay, well, we can trust or whatever. And you know what, you can either look at that, or you can look at the fact that God is still going to give you prophetic understanding. He said that in the book of Amos. He doesn't do anything except he first reveals it to his servants, the prophets. So don't despise prophecy. Don't despise it because of people or things or whatever. Keep your eye, if you spend time with him. This is another thing we're going to do. We're going to start a prayer chain from now until November 5th. We are going to start a prayer chain. We're going to put it up on our website. We're going to put it up in the shout. We're going to put it up. Tim's going to start a prayer chain. That means that people around the clock are going to take a 1 or 2 hour slot, and they're going to pray. We're going to have prayer points on how you pray and how we can effectively, engage God and say, here's what we pray for. Here in faith, believing that God is going to save our country. He's going to diffuse war and different things that we feel are, impending. I mean, there looks like it's heating up, like in Israel and places like that. And we're going to pray. We're going to have prayer points so that if you sign up. It'll be around the clock. We did this when we had a church in Salt Lake City, and we did call the boiler room, where we actually had people downstairs praying. They took a 2 hour slot, and we even put a doorbell on the outside of the church so that when the next person showed up, they rang the doorbell. The person who was praying came up and opened the door, because we were in kind of a shady area, and they let the person in who was going to pray the next 2 hours. And sometimes people that were praying the first 2 hours were so excited, and they were feeling so energized by praying for 2 hours. They wanted to stay and pray with the next person who was supposed to pray for 2 hours. And so we had to kind of juggle that through. But then upstairs, once a month, we did a thing called the burn, of course, which was vertical worship. So when we had the boiler room and the burn going on at the same time, and this was for 24 hours. People can't always pray for 24 hours, but you can have sections, you can have slots where people can take those times, and you will cover a 24-hour period. So we're going to try and do this for 24 hours before, and people take slots. So it's going to be really good. Here's what happens when you do that. You begin to know his voice. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. You got to learn how to hear his voice. Well, you're going to do that when you learn how to pray, and when you pray effectively, when you know that you spend time with him and you've carved that time out. In other words, you're not going to do anything else, and there will be all kinds of distractions and things that will come up to say, oh, well, I just can't, I've got this or that, or I've got this situation or that interference, or this kind of thing came up. Well, you just have to push through and go, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this, and I'll get with you after my time is up. So when you do that, it'll be really, really effective, and you'll learn how to hear him very, very well, and you're going to learn how to understand his ways. He's always saying to us, gosh, you know what, I love what you do, I love all your efforts, but your ways are not my ways, and your thoughts are not my thoughts. I mean, I had to learn this because for years we did things a certain way. Well, he's going to teach us his ways. He's going to teach us his thoughts, and he's going to give us the ability to know what's going on ahead of time, right? So I'm also doing training. I've got training coming up here this weekend in Albuquerque at Eastgate, Foursquare. And so if you're in the area, it's a free training, guys. It's free. I mean, for Pete's sake, I've been doing free training all year long. And all you have to do is show up and get yourself a place to stay and whatever. And it is a personal in-person training. So you get a lot of questions answered and stuff like that. I've got some things that I'm going to be sharing on Elijah Streams on October 10th with Steve Schultz about how to navigate days ahead, how to engage with people who have considered themselves to be woke or trans or gender confused, whatever it might be, So God's given me some downloads. I didn't sign up for this. I'm going to tell you that. I didn't know I would be going into all these crazy areas, but because I said I volunteer. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll do it. And God has been downloading me with strategy from heaven on what to do, how to navigate, how to go forward, how to build a bridge across, because he wants those people. He wants his kids. He wants the people who are so misguided and so confused on so many levels. And of course, with social media and everything else, it's just been really easy for people to get all screwed up in their head, and they don't really know what they think or what they're doing or what's going on. So and the news, by the way, will mess you up if you keep watching it all the time. It's okay to know kind of what's going on, but it's going to change all the time. I mean, look at it. Just for the last, you can go 3 weeks and it'll be totally different than what it was just a week ago, right? And so just pay attention to what his time clock is. Pay attention to what his timing is. Pay attention to what he knows. He's got this thing mapped out. He already knows. I've already seen it. That's what he tells me all the time. I've already seen it. I already know. And I'm going to give you insight on what is coming in segments so that you have an idea of what to prepare for and what to get ready for. And so I'm going to share some of those things, on Elijah Streams too as well. Go on my website, cindymcgill.org, cindymcgill.org. Make sure that you sign up for the Shout, because we're going to be sending out the prayer segments for you to take up those times. In the Shout, we're also going to be giving you information. We're also going to give you some videos and things of some messages even from Maui, that I felt really strongly to deliver out there. And we're going to give you an opportunity. We have an outreach coming up in January. It's to the Porn Convention again I keep asking not to go, and God keeps asking me to go. So this time we doubled the booth, from a small booth of a 10 by 10. We've got now a 20 by 20, and so it's $8,400. And then we have our Airbnb, we have airfare, we have registration, we have the table items that we have to do, we've got meals and stuff like that. It's for a whole week. So I'm going to give you the breakdown on that if you guys want to help out and sew into that, because it's really big. I did go to Burning Man. I did go out and see what was going on. I want to tell you that my report about that was very it was interesting. I only went for 3 days. I didn't have a camp, but there was another camp out there that has been built kind of off the foundation of what we did all those years back in 2003 all the way up to about 2016. And it's got a lot of people. People were coming in. They were getting encountered with, by the Spirit of Truth, and so it was really great to see that something had evolved, and they were using the foundation, even Words That Work. I think they're required to read Words That Work. But it was a very interesting year, in my opinion, because I had other years to compare it to. And there was a lot of drug abuse. There was a lot of drinks, being drugged, people that were getting drugs, put into their drinks. They didn't realize it. They'd pass out. They didn't know where they were. Some people were airlifted to hospitals and they didn't have any ID. They didn't know who they were, what they were. There were a couple people that fell off of 20 or 30 foot art installations out there that they weren't supposed to be climbing. There was a lot of theft going on out there. People were, when an art piece would burn, or they would go to one of the events, at the burning of the man or the temple, people would go into their camps or their RVs or whatever and take their computers or purses or whatever, and that never was happening way back when. That was not what it was about. I've heard too that there's some people missing. They can't find them. There's been a lot of cry for help about, where do I find my friend? They rode up with us and now we can't find them. We don't know where they are. Some people have been found, but it was concerning in that I'm not sure, it's just such a weird time right now, because there's been so many, our nation has changed in so many ways, and with a lot of people coming in they're not citizens here, and so it's a very difficult and it's a hard time to navigate. You have to watch your back, make sure of your surroundings, know what's going on. That was never taught to us. We never had to even think about those things, but you do now. So we're just gonna help go forward, because I know that I know that I know, if I know that I know that God is getting ready to split the heavens and come down. It's Isaiah 56, I think. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. And I believe that it's going to be one of those powerful moments where God is going to show up, and it's going to make knees knock. It's going to be one of those, times where you're going to say, oh my gosh, and I think the wake up is going to be extreme. So we're in a good spot. We're in a good place, especially with this prayer thing that we're going to create and go on until November 5th. We're going to keep it going. And we want to be able to say, okay, this is what we're getting. This is how we're praying. We're not praying so much to get information as we are just to come before God. It's 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face, God said he will hear from heaven and he will heal our land. So we are going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to pray for Israel. We're going to pray for pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We're instructed to do that. And so we're going to do that. And we're just going to hit it. We're just going to hit it hard. I don't give up easy. I never have. I'm not one of those. I just can't. I don't know why. I don't know what drives me to keep going. Sometimes even when I feel like, this is a potential disaster, I keep going. And when I do, God meets me. God meets me in my willingness really to go, and he's cheering us on. He is cheering us on. And there's a lot of joy on the inside when you're involved. If you're involved, you're not going to get depressed. And so I've got some ideas. I've got some things that I feel God's given me about how to get yourself involved. And you have no idea the kind of favor that you'll have when you start doing this kind of stuff. It's almost like it's supernatural favor. You can't get it on your own. It's not anything that you're all like gifted and stuff to do. It's that he just tells you. He gives you supernatural favor, and then all of a sudden things start to happen for you, or doors open for you, or you get upgraded on the plane, and just all kinds of things begin to happen. And so it's really a great season. Yes, it's a one to be awakened to. You can't be asleep in this hour. You can't pretend like, it's all hunky-dory, it's all just going to work out. No, there's a time now where we have to seek his face, and we need to realize that you overcome evil with good. That's what he said to do. You overcome evil with good. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do that, and we're going to watch God destroy the works of the evil one. Jesus already did it. He made an open display of Satan triumphing over him in the cross. So he's already done it, but we're going to overcome evil with good. We're going to watch him do what we cannot do. Prodigals are coming back, by the way. A lot of young people that were church kids, church brats. I've got two myself, and they're coming back. They are like strong. They are determined. They are fiercely honest. They don't care about what people think. They care about the truth. They care about what they know to be true, and they're not going to mince words, And it's their generation, and they're going to be able to speak to their own generation in language that possibly I can't, or whatever. So, okay, go to my website, cindymcgill.org. Make sure that you get Words That Work. Make sure that if you get Methods to the Madness in the Dream Book, what your dreams are telling you. And if you want to help us get our stuff all set up for Vegas, the fees are due, like for the booth rental. They're due. So we really have to begin to raise funds for that outreach. It's a week long, and it's going to be intense. I can tell. I really do feel like there's going to be incredible awakening coming. We're going to have conversational awareness in our booth, where we can have people sit down and talk to us about things they could never tell anyone. And so we're going to have that. We're going to have healing oil treatments where we can put oil on their back, and we can ask for healing to flow into their body. Of course, that's the healing power of God flowing into them, where they can feel his presence. They know that he's with them, and that's another thing. It's almost like you get into a place like that, and you see their heart, and you see how they've been living, and their story to a degree, and then you feel like, what, he loves people no matter what. He loves people no matter what. It's like he wants them back. They got screwed up for a reason. Satan hit them at an early age for a reason. He tried to take over for a reason when they were little. So we're going to go in there. cindymcgill.org. cindymcgill.org. All right, I will catch up with you soon. Go to Albuquerque. If you can get there this weekend, it's Eastgate. It's on my website. It's on my social media. It's a free event. Don't miss it. If you're close, don't miss it. Or even if you have to fly in, just don't miss it. It's going to be great. All right, talk to you soon. Bless y'all.